Sergio Perez, fueled by the support of his home crowd, somehow managed to transform his Mexico Grand Prix into a disaster movie, starting with an early penalty that threw him into the back of the grid. He didn't stop there. He nearly collided with Liam Lawson, the young hotshot aiming for Perez's own seat at Red Bull. Now, let's get real. Lawson isn't just some rookie. He's out here scrapping to make his mark, and if Perez keeps tripping up, he could very well take his place. So what exactly went down between these two on the track? And how did things escalate even further post-race? Could this latest incident signal a bitter fight brewing for that coveted Red Bull seat? People have questioned Perez's Red Bull worthiness for a while now, and it's not hard to see why. Red Bull's a top-tier championship-hungry team, not a mid-table squad trying to survive. Yet here we are, watching Perez spiral in one drama after another, with key players already jumping ship before the season even began. Red Bull's dream season is quickly becoming a nightmare, with Verstappen's seemingly unassailable lead slipping, and the question is louder than ever. Is it finally time for Red Bull to cut the cord with Perez? Following his disaster race at the Mexican Grand Prix, Sergio Perez accused his rival for the 2025 Red Bull Formula One seat, Liam Lawson, of displaying a disrespectful attitude towards senior drivers. Perez urged the Red Bull management to take action, but the muted response from team principal Christian Horner indicated that Perez's concerns may not resonate deeply within the team hierarchy. The incident unfolded as Perez attempted to overtake Lawson for the 10th position in the early laps of the race. Initially successful at the start of the opening complex, Perez found himself in a battle as Lawson fought back, leading to contact that resulted in Perez's suffering damage to his side pod and floor. This incident severely compromised Perez's race for the remainder of the race, forcing him to limp to a disappointing 17th place finish, while Lawson ended up just one spot ahead after a later collision with Williams driver Franco Colapinto. Both drivers expressed their frustrations over the team radio, with Lawson pointing the middle finger towards Perez as he passed him. In the aftermath, Perez asserted that these incidents, coupled with Lawson's recent confrontation with Fernando Alonso in Austin, illustrated a troubling pattern in Lawson's driving style and overall demeanor. Perez criticized Lawson's on-track behavior, arguing that he could have avoided the collision if he had exercised more caution. He lamented the damage inflicted on both their races, characterized Lawson's actions as excessive. When questioned about his relationship with Lawson, amid rumors that Lawson was being evaluated as a potential replacement for Perez, he admitted that he did not have a relationship with the young driver and felt that Lawson lacked the humility necessary for a successful career in Formula One. The Mexican driver said that he's aware of Lawson's talent, but suggested that without a shift in attitude, Lawson might struggle to maintain a lasting career in the sport. Perez made sure to let him know the importance of respecting both fellow competitors and the racing environment itself, urging Lawson to learn from his mistakes. When asked about whether Red Bull's management should intervene regarding Lawson's approach, Perez indicated that it was ultimately up to them, but noted that the clash cost the team valuable points, suggesting that they should at least have a discussion with Lawson. Horner, however, maintained a more detached perspective on the situation, emphasizing that the two drivers were racing independently and that such hard racing was part of the sport. He acknowledged the damage sustained by Perez, but characterized it as an unfortunate yet normal aspect of racing. As for Lawson, he echoed Perez's sentiments regarding the clash, asserting that he felt unfairly treated on track. However, he expressed regret over his earlier gesture and did not like that his reaction was impulsive and not reflective of his character. Lawson recognized the need for composure, especially in high-stakes situations, and admitted that he should have handled the moment differently. When asked about Red Bull's no-nonsense advisor Helmut Marko's take on his middle finger move, Lawson said that it was not a gesture Marko would appreciate and recognized it as an out of character for him. Despite his apology, Lawson's frustration with Sergio Perez lingered, as he held the veteran driver responsible for their clash on lap 18. In contrast, Martin Brundle from Sky Sports pointed out that Lawson's driving was somewhat sketchy, suggesting that Lawson had barely left Perez a car's width on the inside and was moving in the braking zone. Brundle assessed the incident as primarily Lawson's fault, placing it at a 60 to 40% in favor of Perez, even though the stewards chose not to impose any penalties. The whole situation was deemed clumsy, particularly given the challenging nature of the corner. As rumors circulated about the potential head-to-head battle between Lawson and Perez for a coveted Red Bull seat next season, the clash could prove pivotal. Should Red Bull decide Lawson has the potential to partner Max Verstappen, it could spell the end of Perez's time with the team, Conversely, if they opt to keep Perez, Lawson would remain a V-carb driver for now. I mean, things are pretty rough for Checo. Even the man who defended him the most claims he's not sure anymore for his seat. This is what Horner said. "Look, it's a performance-based business. There comes a point in time that difficult decisions have to be made." Despite the chaos, Perez has remained remarkably unfazed. He boldly asserted that he has zero concerns about his future, confidently declaring that he will be on the grid here next year and gunning for victory. With a career that has already weathered many storms, Perez has outlasted even some of Red Bull's top engineers. However, with the emergence of Liam Lawson as a strong contender for his seat, the plot has taken a sharp turn. On the other hand, Max Verstappen has also had a race to forget in Mexico, marred by controversy and a series of penalties that added fuel to the fire brewing at Red Bull Racing. Right from the start, he found himself embroiled in two separate incidents with McLaren's Lando Norris. The first incident happened at Turn 4, where Verstappen was deemed to have forced Norris off the track. Shortly after, at Turn 8, he left the circuit and managed to re-enter ahead of Norris, which earned him another penalty. It's somewhat ironic that while Norris faced penalties in Austin for a similar maneuver against Verstappen, this time it was Verstappen who felt the brunt of stricter enforcement. When reflecting on the penalties, Verstappen made it clear that the real issue wasn't about the officiating, but rather the car's performance. He emphasized that Red Bull was struggling significantly with race pace on both medium and hard tyres, which prevented him from competing for top positions. By the end of the race, he found himself finishing in P6, feeling completely unable to challenge the Mercedes drivers ahead. The RB20's lack of grip and braking performance was a clear handicap, leaving Verstappen frustrated as he drove at a disadvantage. Despite this disappointing outing, he maintained a cautious sense of optimism, looking forward to the Brazilian Grand Prix. Verstappen acknowledged the ongoing pace issues with the RB20, which has been evident throughout the Mexico Grand Prix. He recognized that adapting to these situations was key and reflected on the lessons learned from the weekend events. His mindset showed a willingness to adjust his approach based on whatever new regulations might come into play. Meanwhile, Lando Norris was quietly making his way up the ranks, closing the gap in the Drivers' Championship. With just 47 points now separating him from Verstappen and only 4 races left in the season, the pressure is mounting. If Verstappen were to slip up and lose the championship, it could trigger significant changes within Red Bull Racing. The stakes have never been higher, especially with the Brazilian Grand Prix looming on the horizon. Behind the scenes, Red Bull was facing a crucial decision regarding its driver lineup for 2025. Recent comments from team principal Christian Horner hinted that changes could be on the table, creating a buzz about what might happen next. The speculation is thick. Would Liam Lawson step up to take over Perez's seat, or might Daniel Ricciardo make a dramatic return to the team? This uncertainty only adds to the already intense atmosphere as the season nears its conclusion. As the Brazilian Grand Prix approaches, all eyes are on Red Bull Racing. Fans are eager to see if Verstappen could reclaim his dominant form and fend off the advances of Norris. The underlying tension surrounding Perez's situation and the potential reshuffling of the driver lineup was impossible to ignore. The countdown is on, and it promises to be an exciting time for fans and analysts alike. This whole saga is set to unfold in dramatic fashion, and anyone following the sport won't want to miss it.